Mhm.
Where is the film set and how does the setting inform the animation? Can you give an example of a particular way of moving or a gesture that consultants shared with you to help convey the place? Example, pointing with their lips.
So where is the place? And so the place is set in Colombia. The movie sets it's set in Colombia, and we worked with multiple consultants to tell us, to give us like an insight of like on the Colombia culture and the Colombia history and the personal relationships between people. The directors actually got to go to Colombia very early on in the process to kind of visit the place and learn about the culture and the places and the architecture. So they came back with like a ton of ideas about what they wanted the movie to be like. Um, for us in animation, as we are working with with our consultants, the main focus for us was to be really understand like what should we be animating that would transport you into that part of the world. So there were like gestures that people do in Colombia that are very specific. We learned that when people in Colombia, when they point at something, they sometimes point with their lip like this. So when you see Mirabel doing that kind of gesture, it is very much a Colombian thing that they do over there, and we incorporated that into the film. And yeah, I mean, our main job as animators is really to act to our characters, but also, since the movie takes place in Colombia, we wanted to make sure it was very specific and that we were doing justice to the to our characters and make sure they felt like they belong in that part of the world. So hopefully, when you watch the movie, you get transported to Colombia. So,
The house is alive and magical. What were the rules that helped to guide the house's magic? What are some examples of the house's magic?
So what are the examples of the rules that will make the house magic? And so when we first jumped on the film, the directors talked to us about this house that was, that's almost like a family pet that would be caring for you, that would be looking after you, and would be always there for you whenever you need it. So as an animation team, we normally animate characters, and characters are normally people or or a anthropomorphic character like the characters on Zootopia. So animating a house, it was very different than the things we normally do. So we tried to figure out like, okay, how does that work? If the house is sad, how do we portray that? If the house is saying hello to somebody, how does that work? uh, the best thing we did at the beginning was just establish some ground rules for the house. The directors didn't want the house to be just like a magical, like a house that had that anything in it would move by its own. So it had a few rules in place to where the things that the house could use to emote were things that were attached to it, like tiles or sconces. But if the house needed to move a chair, for instance, the chair couldn't just move by itself. The house needed to pick up tiles or the floorboards underneath it and kind of get the chair to kind of move around. So that was the basics of the rules of how we moved the house. So, and some of the acting choices on it, that was the interesting part of it, where when the house was interacting with Mirabel, he had its own personality and he acted a certain way. He was always there if Mirabel needed something. And creating that relationship between the two of them, thinking of the house as uh, as something that Mirabel could relate to, was really important to us. It really drives a lot of the story all the way through the end, and we needed that to be the audience to be very emotionally connected to the house as not just as a building, but as a character in the film. So that was something that ourselves and our effects team put a lot of effort into it.
Describe how the approach to animation might change when it comes to a song. Can you give an example of a song and how the animation team approached it?
So yeah, to talk about how we approached animating some of the songs, we as animators, we often are tasked with the job of animating the personality of these characters and the locomotion of these characters, and so we act through these characters. And in the film, we were also challenged with animating all these songs in the film. And to do that, we had to rely a lot on our choreographers on choreography, and we partner up with Jamal Sims and as well as Kai Martinez to kind of help us understand, the choreography of the sequences and also the locomotion of the sequences. So in many of these cases, the characters needed to dance, and Kai was partnering with us all the way through all the way through animating the shots in the songs, because as it may surprise you, not all of our animators are great dancers. Actually, some of us can't quite dance very well. So having Kai be a partner with us in this process was really crucial to kind of get us to be able to animate these characters believably. Music in Colombia is a huge thing, and they're very proud of their music and their and the way they dance. And we wanted to make sure that was done correctly. So having that partnership with Kai and with Jamal was very important for us. And so when we're animating these characters, dancing is one of the most difficult things for us to do, because it really needs to be done specifically. Every footstep has to be done properly. Every weight shift has to be done properly. On top of that, you also have to animate to a rhythm of a song. You have to be hitting all those beats very properly, so the characters really feel like they're in the moment with the song. And to add another complexity to it, the characters are often acting. There's also, when they're singing, there's something going on in their lives, or something that we need to have the character say to get through this act, to portray to fulfill a story need, to kind of help carry the story. So all those elements become a very complicated thing for us to do all at once. So having choreographers kind of working with us from the beginning, that was very helpful and crucial to kind of getting the sequences to look as great as they do in the film.